Okay, my phone died in the middle of our last, I'm hearing conversation. I'm also hearing limitation as I'm looking down at the Five of Pentacles, which I pulled as I was talking about the victims. So much focus on the victims of neurotrafficking, and I was hearing neural interface. And as the Five of Pentacles is coming up, representing a lack or a scarcity, and also there could be some monetary funds that are concealed. I'm hearing evidence also. A lack of evidence comes to mind. I'm hearing your brain, and I'm hearing torture. I'm hearing pain, and I'm also thinking trainers. So spy, I'm hearing activity. Spy interface I'm getting. And I'm also thinking of trainers, people that also train dialogue, brainwave and train people to compute. I'm hearing imagine things. And I'm hearing boot. And Bootus the Herdsman is coming up from memory, which is a card here in the deck. And I am pulling the Big Bang, which is the Big Bang Theory is the Fool card in this Quantum Tarot version 2.0. And so I see something transforming, and I was also hearing the interplay is about to change, and I was also hearing training dialogue to make sense. I'm hearing has nothing to say. To her, ease back into it. And so heavy focus on the victims for me of neuro-torture, I'm hearing, and that's true. Finding a way to discuss what exactly it is that we're going through as a form of slavery, and it's really a new concept to most of us. I'm hearing declared, and I'm hearing torture. Stole the show, I'm hearing evidence. Is wonderment. And so this new problem is something that a lot of people don't know about. Information and knowledge sharing. And I'm getting the Nine of Wands, which is pulsar, which makes me think of predictive and also habit patterns, but prediction, thought prediction. This is the old soldier who keeps going long after the war has been won. And someone who's fighting but is very stuck in their ways. A pulsar, let's see, pulsars emit radio frequencies at a precise and given rate. And so it's really calling, it calls people to kind of, I'm getting break out of their shell. I'm hearing torture diaries and dialect. But also break out of those predictive habit patterns where it's just time for a change, and being kind of stubborn is some of the drawbacks that can come with the pulsar card, the old soldier. And I'm pulling the card of the it's the Eight of Swords reversed. So we see imprisonment in this card. We see imprisonment. And so false imprisonment has been something that's on my mind lately. Also torture traps, AI traps, and surveillance traps that some of the targets are going through are much larger of a problem than one could possibly imagine if you've never had any encounter with them. I'm hearing dialogue, I'm hearing torture, but with the information itself. It's also the card of color charge and quark confinement. And it is in reverse here, which makes me kind of think of busting out of prison. That would be really nice, right? If I'm hearing surveillance, but I'm also thinking of literally jailbreaking the victims here. Slavery, and I'm also hearing computation, and I'm getting labor as well. And so covering this topic is something that has been a little bit all over the place. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of, I'm getting change, and also it's kind of echoing color charge here as I've just spoken it. And feedback loops are a big part of dialogue diary I'm getting, and I'm pulling the Magician card. And I'm thinking of using AI to manifest but also manipulate, and this guy is kind of juggling here. But this is the Magician card, and it's also the electromagnetic force in this deck. Electromagnetic tools of manipulation are something that I am learning how to speak about, especially for victims of thought interrogation, to really be tied down by this problem I mean, to have tools at your disposal, and I'm hearing tools of discernment, which is really circling back through from earlier. Again, a lot of loops, a lot of repetition I'm hearing, a lot of repetition in the dialogue. Torture Hell I'm hearing is a book, and I'm hearing wrote Natalie say goodbye, and I'm also getting like a kiss. Pie's finished. Pie is finished. And also I'm hearing torture dialogue. So the best thing that I can do is spend time talking about it. It's complex. I'm hearing nature, discovery, and I'm pulling Cassiopeia here. The card of the Queen of Swords. So I also think of female intelligence, and I've really been wishing that there was like a female intelligence league. I'm hearing genitals. As I'm thinking of female also reproductive systems, and biomedical, I'm hearing advancement, I'm hearing discovery, and I'm thinking of Gumball Machine. So that's something I'm hearing, write it out with your name on the torture docket script. And so I have a lot of hope for the victims. If you're going through neural interface torture, I'm so sorry. I'm hearing rodeo, and I'm getting like rodeo clowns, especially those of us that have been used for comedic interface, in which our torture has just been the subject of hilarity, apparently. And so it is incredibly unfunny thing that has yielded, I'm hearing pleasure for all. Torture, I'm also getting brawl. Read, derelict, and dialect in my recent past. I'm hearing, I applaud you all for listening. Torture script is easy. It's a really hard thing to talk about, and lately I've been having a lot of trouble with the dialogue. It's something that follows me throughout my day. The level of stalking is just unbelievably intense. You know, there's a dialogue. I'm hearing torture script for, you know, when I'm in the shower. There's a torture script when it's time to go to bed, when it's time to wake up. I'm going to pull a card for sleep deprivation for the victims, and I'm getting the 9 of Swords. And I always think of being up at night when I see this card of just complete mental anguish, a lot of mental activity. I'm hearing Joker. And this person is kind of split. I'm hearing being, and there's a light and a dark side here, and they've got their face and their hands just in complete agony. A lot of swords here, a lot of mental activity. This character is really just like being kept up at night, and by duality, by a force of duality, it seems. Also, polarity, being thrown into polarity by torture is something that is a regular occurrence for a lot of us. Being thrown into a state of polarity and charge. And so keeping grounded can be heavily important. I'm going to pull a card for the Earth, and I'm going to end there. And it is the High Priestess reversed, which speaks to wisdom, but also hidden knowledge. The High Priestess. So hidden knowledge, hidden wisdom. And earth connections, earth communications, staying grounded to the earth and staying grounded and linked to, really, the right communication system. The more connected to the earth and, you know, the more in tune we are, the more connected to, I'm hearing sacred, I'm hearing lands, organic communication systems, you know, the harder it is to not just throw us off, but link us to artificial intelligence. For all sorts of, I mean, the amount of deep biosurveillance, the amount of deep brain surveillance that is coming out of these torture projects is yielding just an absolutely overwhelming amount of illegal research. And that's really what I'm talking about here. So if you're someone who has wisdom or insight, perspective about this situation, I really look forward to hearing it. Thank you all.